Hello there, and welcome to the Female Edge webinar series. So, in these conversations, I'm joined by inspirational and amazing women who inspire and empower other women to find their success. Um, as you know, I'm the author of The Female Edge and also the founder of agentstochange.com. Today, I'm joined by the amazing and inspirational in her own right, Leyla Novruzova. So tell us a bit about yourself, Leyla.
Hi. Thank you for this opportunity to join you. And I really admire what you do. I really, enjoyed your book. And so very happy to join you today. So, yeah, I'm Leyla. I'm career coach. I'm helping women to have successful careers they love. But this is who I am today. And I'll tell a little bit about my journey. And I'm from
Yeah.
Baku, Azerbaijan. This is one of the ex-Soviet countries. And I started to work for foreign oil company BP back in very early 90s, when right after collapse of Soviet Union, foreign oil companies came to this part of the world, and all our lives changed. Yeah. And since then, so I had a long and very successful journey with BP. And this is the company where I grew, and I had an opportunity to work internationally. And I worked in different countries, very different by culture, by everything. So I worked in Russia, I worked in Pakistan, and then I moved to US. I worked 3 years in Houston, Texas. And yeah, I know Texas is not different country, but sometimes it feels like. And then I went back to Azerbaijan, and then I moved to UK, and I lived in London. And when I lived in London, I was looking after very different 6 countries, and including Hungary and Malaysia. Why I'm telling this is that I had amazing opportunity to get exposure to very different cultures, yeah, very different people. And I think this is what made my job so enjoyable. And yeah, but everything has beginning, everything has end, and there are changes happened in my life. And these changes and some changes in my personal life, significant changes, brought me back to the US, and this time I believe for permanent residence. And so when I moved to US, I thought that okay, it's time to change what I do as well, because everything changed in my life. I changed my country, I've changed my job, I changed my personal life, and so it's time to change the job as well. And then I decided, this was not easy, but I've decided to leave behind my 27 plus successful career with BP and do something different, and do something which I'm passionate about, and at the same time, what I can do really well. Yeah, and this is where my process of exploration of what's next started. So it took me a few months to come to that. And then I decided to bring my passion and work together. And this is how I founded my very own coaching business, and called Transformative Coaching, and with a program called Love Your Life. So
Fabulous.
I am
Yeah.
I'm married, and I have grown up son. He lives in Florida. He's 26 years old. So this is all about me.
Yeah. Yeah. And what part of the US are you in?
I'm in
Are
New
you in
Jersey.
Florida? New
No, I'm
Jersey.
in New
Yeah.
Jersey. Yes, my son is in
Mm,
Florida. I'm in New Jersey.
mm,
But we have cabin in the woods in Pennsylvania, in Pocono
mm,
Mountains area, and this is the
yeah.
place where I get a lot of inspiration. Whenever I'm there, I get so
Mm,
many ideas because it's so quiet there, and it's in the
mm,
forest, and I love to walk there. And whenever I go for a walk, I
mm,
come back with lots of ideas how I can improve my
mm.
program.
Yeah, we're talking about everyday inspiration, and I know we're going to go off onto a different thing. And I've got a few wow things to share from what you've shared with us as well. But it's so true that what we know is the more we go out into nature, the more we spend time in the natural world, the more creative we become. And that's a
Yeah,
great example of it. Actually, just being surrounded by
yeah.
trees, forests, sea, rivers, anything that's it has a huge impact on our creativity. But a few wow moments there. I mean, we have had times where we've definitely been on parallel tracks, or we've probably overlapped, and we
Yeah.
were joined together by a mutual colleague, because I've worked with BP in the past doing quite a bit of
Yes.
different transformation projects, including in Azerbaijan, but not in
Yeah.
Azerbaijan while you were in Azerbaijan. But
Yes. But I've heard
but
your name. Yeah.
but to 27 years in one organization and then making the leap out of it, that in itself is an inspiration, and we'll probably come into that a little bit, because I know that you're going to talk about things like comfort zones and things. But that is, there's a huge shift that needs to make when you've literally grown up in an organization. You've had one
Yes.
organization, albeit very different cultures. I mean, you've mentioned, I think it was about 8 or 9 different countries and cultures you worked in as well. So that in
Yeah.
itself has a lot of inspiration. But even so, that jump from a company that you've grown up in and learnt in to going out on your own, that must in itself have been a big leap for you.
Yeah, it wasn't easy decision, I need to say. I mean, because BP became my comfort zone. Talking
Mm,
about the comfort
mm,
zones, and I was very comfortable. And although everything was changing, as I say, I moved. It's not that I was in the same part, but it's still like it was like um home of your parents, where you very safe and
mm,
secure. And at the same time, I was looking into like, okay, so what is something what I really want to do. Yeah, because I always was thinking about having my own business, especially in the later to them, like let's say in the last several years. And I was kind of thinking about very different businesses, starting from daycare. So I even took the online program about daycare ownership, and I start
mm,
meeting with different daycare owners to understand what exactly is this
mm,
about. And then my another idea was about opening, you will laugh on this probably, but it was about opening British pub type of place in Pennsylvania, like the
mm,
concept of British pub. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about all different things. And why coaching, it's I need to tell that when I was leaving BP, and I'll come back on my decision piece. I remember your question. But when I was leaving BP, and so many people reached out to me, and they were sharing their stories of me giving them good career advice and coaching them and how it helped them. And I was like, wow, I was thinking, I'm leaving now. So usually when you are leaving, people tell the truth. Yeah. When you are
yeah,
on executive position, you may hear something which
absolutely.
may be not exactly right. But but when you are leaving, like, yeah, everything says the truth. And so people at the countries I've mentioned from all over the world, they were calling me and saying, thank you. And they were providing some details, like saying, you remember we were sitting in this glass room on the eighth floor. So they remember details. So this mattered to them. Yeah. And this is what
Mm,
mattered to me. I thought that, oh, wow, if this is something I do really well, and probably this is what I need to do. So forget about daycare, forget about,
mm,
British pub. And yeah, but about the decision, it was a difficult decision when I was initially thinking about this, because being, in on payroll for so many years, and then realizing that you are going into this, complicated, amazing, interesting, but very risky world of being, entrepreneur, and being, on your own. And yeah, it was difficult decision, but when kind of I knew that I need to do it, it's something in my within me was telling me that you did well in BP. BP did a lot for you. So it's time to, everything has expiration date. Yeah. So this was expiration date probably. And you need to do something what you would like to do now. So what's right for you now. So, and once
mm,
I came to that decision, it's everything became all of a sudden very easy, very natural,
yeah.
and
Mm.
it's just everything worked to help me with my taking my decision further.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true, actually, isn't it? Most of our emotions and our angst are before a decision, but once we have decided and we're committed to the decision, it becomes easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's
But
like passing exam. You're preparing for exam and you are so nervous,
yeah,
and then you come and sit
mm,
and you know that you can pass it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it also makes you uniquely qualified to help women who are navigating their career and navigating big changes and shifts in different directions, because you've been through it. You've been through it. Each time you went to a different country, you were in another job, in effect. project, yes, you're in the same organization and same employer, but each one you had to learn again how to do things in this particular setting, and then making the big leap out of there and finding your own way. So yeah, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
huge
Also,
insights there that you bring.
I think what is important probably to mention that I started to grow my career back in very early 30, in late 90s. And
Mm,
so this was the time, different time, now we talk a lot, hopefully all the organizations now appreciate the value of
mm,
having female employees and having them in leadership roles. But this time, at
mm,
this time it wasn't like that big theme, and I was
yeah.
most of the world female
Mm,
in a very male dominated oil and
mm.
gas industry. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yes. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Yes. I'm sure there was lots of challenges to overcome. But going to what's prompted us for today's conversation is obviously we are in connection with each other now, and I follow you on media and you follow me, and you did a really lovely impromptu post recently, which was about you were reading quite light-hearted chick flit, as they call it, literature book. But even from that, you got 5 very strong lessons or inspiring
yeah.
tips from it. And I just thought it'd be great to share with us again that story about what you were reading, why even the title inspired
Mhm.
you, and then what you
Yeah.
brought, what you got from.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love to read. And as I put in my video last week, for myself, I divide the books into 3 categories. Yeah. So the books which just, help me to become wiser as a person, the books which help me to grow professionally. So, and then the books which are just, they are just fun. And, and when I saw this book, I read Sophie Kinsella's books before. Why it immediately, attracted me, because the title of the book is Love Your Life. And this is the name of my program. So this I've called my program. And my program, I'll very briefly will tell about it because it has connection to these messages. It's 8 weeks program, and where we try, first of all, first couple of weeks to try to understand what exactly my client wants, where they want to get, because quite often people come to me and they say they want to change something in their life, but they don't know what. Yeah. Or they say, I'm unhappy at work and I don't know why, because I have a good job and it's well paid, but I'm still unhappy and I don't know why. So we are kind of doing this a little bit why and what thing. Yeah. And then we go into like what the good looks like, what I really want. And then we work on how to come to that. Yeah. And so the messages which I always, the part of my program are about, that don't be afraid of coming out of comfort zone. And also it's about, how to come to this, like gradually, how to take small steps. And when I started to read this book, I was like, oh wow, the messages in this book, and it's very, as I said, it's light reading. It's about romantic relations between 2 people, and he's successful businessman, but he's in the business which he doesn't like. He just doesn't enjoy it, but he has to be there because it's family business, because their commitment, because society expects him to be there. And she's very, very nice young lady, but she wants to do everything, and starting from aromatherapy and writing the book and everything. Yes, she's all over the place and she never completes anything. She never achieves something. And so then they meet the 2 different people. And as this is, a very light romantic book, you can expect that in the end, they help each other, to become better people and live the best of their lives. And I was thinking that, but yes, this is light reading, but if we apply these messages in our life, and this is so resonated with my messages in my program, that this will work in real life as well. Yeah. And the first of all, it was about, if you are not if you are trapped in your comfort zone and you know that you are too comfortable, this is not any longer, exciting for you. You don't jump out of bed on Monday, to go to work to do what what's expected to do, and it's just because you have to be there. It's toxic. Yeah, it's toxic, and you need to acknowledge it. First step, you need to acknowledge it. Because quite often, when people get in the comfort zone, they try to assure themselves that it's all works well, so nothing wrong with this comfort zone. And for some time it's nothing wrong, but then
Mm.
it starts bothering you. So this was the first message, that if you are trapped in your comfort zone, and you need to acknowledge it. Yeah, don't deny it. The second one was, if you feel like you don't have a choice, because this is how this guy felt, like, this is family business, I don't have a choice, this is where I need to be. We always have a choice. Everyone has always choice, and there's sometimes more than one choice. And if you can't find it, if you can't see what are your choices, get some help. Yeah, so get help. And I'm not
Mm.
talking only about professional help, about not only about coaching or mentoring, but also, you can get help from everywhere. You can, like, again, as inspiration as well. So, but get help to understand what are your choices. And the third thing was, like, if you are all over the place, because quite often, again, people want to do all different things, and then they don't know what exactly they want to do. Just, try to focus on one thing, and get
Yeah.
all the distractions, get away from the distractions
Mm.
to do it. And so, so what's happened to the lady in this book? So she takes the retreat to Italy, and she goes and have some very quiet time to write her book, and she finally writes her book. Yeah. So you probably know, as author of the book, that writing the book
Mm.
requires a lot of, probably, attention and focus. So I want to write the book one day as well. And if you feel you don't have enough time, so this is another thing. So I have my flagship program is Love Your Life, transformative coaching, but I also have another program which called Organizing Your Life. And
Mm.
this program was put together because one of my clients, she asked me, can you, help me to fit everything into the day and still not feel exhausted? Yeah. And this is how it started. And then, I started offering it to other people as well. And so this is why this message so resonated with me. But if you feel you don't have enough time, limit your distractions. So what eats our time? We keep scrolling, Facebook reels, just this, and then half a day is gone, just
Yeah.
distract. And when you are working on something important, just switch off your phone or put it out of reach so
Mm.
that you can't reach it, and
Mm.
dedicate your attention, your time, to what you need to do. And the last one is very important for me as well. If you struggle with staying on track, you want to achieve something, and then you are struggling, and it's very difficult journey. You need to surround yourself with masterminds. You need to surround yourself with people who can tell you, that are you on track really, or do you need to do something else,
Mm.
and they should motivate you with saying right things, at right time, without at this time expecting your attention back to them. Yes. So
Mm.
surrounding yourself with masterminds is really important. So I mean, when I was reading this book, and actually I just finished it before I made this video, I thought, wow, I need to share this right now, because this resonates with all the messages I have in my program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things there, isn't there? I mean, the comfort zone is, funny enough, I'm doing a masterclass on comfort zone for one of my clients soon, about coming out of it, because our zone is the enemy of our development. It's the thing that stops us developing. But the two things you're talking about there, getting focus and the distractions, one of the techniques that people suggest for that, I don't know if you come across it, is it's called the Pomodoro technique. And the idea, and I think it was an Italian that came up with it, was that you set a timer for whatever it is, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, to do just one thing, and only stop at the end of that timer, and then you come and take a break. And they called it the Pomodoro because he was using them tomato timers that you see in the kitchen sometimes. I don't know if you've ever seen them. And you set the timer by just twisting it, and it sets the time for however long, and then it bings, and it's shaped like a tomato, Pomodoro.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's
yeah.
where it comes from. But the idea is to do them two things very clearly: focus, and then no distraction. So that
Mhm.
it's only about this one thing, because what we know, and you know this, I know, is we can't multitask. It's an absolute myth. Women can't multitask, men can't multitask, kids can't multitask. What happens is that we give small amounts of our energy and our mental awareness to something, and we don't do it well. That's what multitask means.
That's right.
So
And
I think that
Mary,
I
also
think
what helps for focusing, I think, sorry, I just thought
mm,
that I need to tell that is it's to know what you want to do. Yeah, what's your North Star? Yeah. So
yeah,
where you are going,
yeah,
what's your goal is. Then
mm,
you know this, it's
mm,
easy to focus because then you know what I do right now, what I do today, is it bringing me closer to my North Star or not,
mm,
or what I can do
yeah,
today, what I can focus on today.
mm,
So this is why, I mean, it doesn't mean that your goal may not change or your North Star may not move a little bit. That's okay.
mm,
But when you know what you want to achieve, when you know where you want to be, let's say in 3 years, it's easy for you to plan today
mm.
and be focused on the things today. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. But the first thing is working out what it is, and then focusing on it. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and it just shows you, that this was a book you were reading, just a bit light-hearted. You were attracted to it just because it was a cover
Yes.
name title that resonated with you in your program, and even from that, something you weren't expecting anything more than a bit of
Yeah.
entertainment brought some very strong nuggets of inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can find inspiration everywhere.
Yeah.
We've talked with you before about, working just taking the walks. And it's you can walk and not pay attention what's happening around, just walk. And it's good for health, yeah. But you can walk
Yeah.
and you can look at the sky, you can look around, you can find,
Mm.
see the things which, will inspire you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even I last a couple of weeks ago, I attended funerals, and it was Jewish funeral, so it was rabbi and making the speech, and she said something. I mean, like it was funeral, it was sad event, but she said something which really, also gave me a little bit of inspiration. That may sound odd, but she said that there are three stages, of mourning, and the first one is we cry, we lose someone. The second
Mm.
one
Yeah.
is we become very quiet and silent. It's like we reflect
Mm.
on this person's life. And the third one is we transform the life of the person into the song. Yeah, I like this so much. And what I was thinking at that moment, that I want
Mm.
my song to be a nice one. I want it, to
Mm.
be really, something with people, my children, grandchildren, whoever, that
Mm.
then they will transform my life into the song. I want it to be a nice one. Yeah. So this
Mm.
was like just sitting at the funeral and listening to Rabbi, but getting inspiration from these words.
Oh, I mean, that is so I've got tingles actually. I've never heard it said like that. And it's so true, the stages of grief, but the transform to the song, that,
Yeah.
and you probably haven't in your program, but in my program, the Professional Women's Playbook, we talk about leaving a legacy. What's the
Yeah.
legacy you will leave from your actions today? What's the
Hmm.
legacy you want to leave in the future? And if we always
Exactly.
think in terms of what is the long-term legacy, and transform it into a song is just a beautiful way of
Yeah.
saying that. Yeah,
Yeah.
really lovely. Yeah. Again, another place to get inspiration. What I find when I'm working with women and they're struggling with their confidence, one of the things that they struggle with is, what's unique about you, or what's the uniqueness you bring to the situation or the
Hmm.
workplace,
Hmm.
that, and they often really, really struggle with that. And I
Hmm.
always say, well, where you get inspiration for that is in exactly some of the things that you described at the beginning of this, is in the conversations you've had with colleagues, which has resonated with them or with you. So
Hmm.
either things that they've brought back to you as feedback because of what you've said to them, or when they've actually given you feedback that was unsolicited and it actually hit you somewhere very specifically emotionally, or resonated with you in terms of something you were doing and contributing to that you didn't even know was important to other people.
Hmm.
So, there's lots of places we can find inspiration, but think about the important conversations that are in your life and how people see you and describe you. And it's
Hmm.
interesting, that's how you opened up. Is like one of the reasons you learnt your path, your
Hmm.
BP life, was thinking about them conversations and what people were saying had
Yes.
made an difference to them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why when I knew like this is what I want to continue to do, to impact
Mm,
positively, people's
yeah.
life. And yeah, so I have
Mm,
men clients as well, and they ask me why
mm,
your offer is helping women. You are helping us as well.
mm,
I say, yeah, I
mm,
do. I mean, of course, I will. But
mm.
it's my passion to help women, and especially for the reason you just mentioned. It's I see a lot of confidence issue, and I want
Yeah.
to get on my own example, an example of people I know, on
Mm,
examples, many,
mm,
examples, like to show them and to make them understand that you can build your confidence, and
mm.
well, I don't think we are born with confidence. Probably some people are,
No.
but very
Yeah.
few. But we can build it.
Yeah. No, very few. Sometimes they come from a very nurturing environment. They do come with the confidence, but most of us don't. You're quite right.
Yes.
Um, what would be the one takeaway, one action, or something that people could start thinking about and doing from today, based on some of the things you've shared today?
Yeah, so we've talked about coming out of comfort zone, and you've mentioned that you are working on this offer right now, and I think that probably when you say that you need to come out of your comfort zone, and people who are listening to us, they may think, okay, it's easy to say, what shall I do? How I can go out of my comfort zone? But like with everything else, it's good to start with something small. Yeah, we don't need to start from something which will like transform us tomorrow. So my advice would be like to anyone who's listening to us and will listen to us, just do some experimenting. Yeah, let's say, so just try something new which is not comfortable for you this
Yeah.
week. Like, whenever you listen to that, in a week from this, try something new. And for different people, it's different things. So for someone, for
Mm,
if you have issues with just chit chatting and starting conversation with someone you don't know, just make yourself to go into the coffee shop and talk to stranger. Yeah, for example.
yeah.
And
Mm,
or for someone, it may be like having lunch by yourself, like whatever. So whatever you feel uncomfortable, or making live videos, whatever. It used to be my like crashing my comfort zone when I made my first live video. And
mm,
so do something which you don't naturally feel comfortable with this week, and this will be just a small step towards coming out of comfort zone.
mm. Brilliant. Brilliant advice. Absolutely. Sometimes it's the small steps that take us on the big journey, but we've got to start with the small steps.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, I want to thank you very much for joining me, Leyla. As I said, I was inspired by the post, and it was great to share it again here today in terms of finding inspiration from everyday activities and places and events in our life. So I think they've given us some great tips there. If you've liked the conversation today, please do like and share and comment on the post if you're looking at this in the playback. And let's keep the conversation going. So, Leyla, you can get in touch with via her email here, lelnovruzova@gmail.com. And you can also find her on LinkedIn. She's the one and only Leyla Novruzova, so you'd be able to find her there. And obviously, I'm from agents2change.com, so you can find me at maryagentschange.com and also Mary Maguire on LinkedIn. So, thank you very much for you today. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you've been inspired to take some positive actions in your life. So, thank you, and until next time, have a great day.